These are lead magnets. Ultimately, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about lead magnets. And maybe a quiz isn't right for you. If you've got a quiz already on your website, or you're just not sure how you're going to do it. What other types of lead magnets are out there? Because they're all good traffic drivers, and they're great ways to collect data and then nurture those potential patients. Hey there, welcome to the Dr. Marketing Tips Show. I am Jennifer.
And I'm Corey.
Corey, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about how quizzes can drive traffic to your website, drive leads.
To your medical practice website.
To your medical practice website.
I love it because I know we've been doing some quizzes and they've been blowing up the traffic.
They work really well. So what we're talking about is when you create what's called a lead magnet, which is just a marketing term to say, I'm going to give you some sort of information in return for some contact info. So how this works is you would create a quiz on your website, and that's open to anyone. So for example, let's say you're in the vascular space, you could do a PAD quiz. Signs you may have PAD. Let's say it's 6 or 7 questions. To get the results, I ask for contact info, and then I show you the results. Now what I've done there is I've provided value to you, potential patient. I've increased my database, so now I've got your email, and I can email you about future PAD screening specials perhaps, or other practice news that's going on. And then we can add you to the email list, and this is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, and I found we did a big campaign for an ophthalmology practice recently, centered around, they wanted LASIK patients. But we were running AdWords, and then we were running Google Ads, and then we were running display, and then we were running some ads on social. And the ads on social weren't necessarily performing in terms of like impressions and true click-throughs that were resulting. So what we did is we said, let's do quizzes to use that like as a really low point of entry. So then we had the ads running on social that were talking about like, find out if LASIK is right for you in 1 minute or less.
Right.
And then those ads actually started outperforming everything else. And it was interesting because the client was like, they're not signing up for LASIK. Well, we don't expect them to sign up for LASIK through an ad on Facebook. But what I do expect is that we're going to now have a database of people who are interested in eye surgery. And guess what, doc? They may not be qualified for LASIK, but they may be qualified for RLE or cataract or something. And now you have a database that you didn't have before, so get out and market to them.
Right.
So I think like that's the beauty of the quiz. Like it's great because it'll attract people in, it'll make them go through, and you'll be able to build a database. But at the same time, it gives you a different way to advertise in a way that's very educational.
Right. Well, you're giving value to the potential patient, and what's great is from the user standpoint, they're self-qualifying.
Yeah.
So as they're taking this LASIK quiz, when they get to the end of it, and of course this isn't medical advice, and we have disclaimers that say so, but when they get to the end of it, we can say, based on the answers, hey, you actually are a great candidate for LASIK, but the only way to know for sure is to come and see us.
Yep.
Or the opposite is, well, LASIK may not be right for you, but because one of the questions can be about age.
Yes.
And we can say, but you may qualify for X, Y, and Z procedure, which could be RLE, it could be something else. Either way, come and see us. So it's a win-win for the practice. The patient can see kind of like what their next step should be, and then we get to market to them, we build the list, and because we're giving this value, we find that they convert at a very high rate because again, they're qualifying themselves. We know they already want to do this because they took the quiz. So they're already kind of moving down the funnel, right?
Yeah. So let's rapid fire of different practices and what type of quizzes they might be able to do. So we just said ophthalmology, super simple, right? So another one, endometriosis. Yeah. This is an actual one that we did for an IVF clinic. Endometriosis literally blew every other page on the website out of the water. They become the #1 IVF practice in their region for about a year before other practices started doing it.
Yep.
And I'm talking like 50, 60, 70,000 visits a month to their site. And we were like, what's happening? It was the endometriosis quiz.
Yeah, because when we launched that, there were no endometriosis quizzes anywhere, but people were looking for that. So regardless of where you were, if you were looking for an endometriosis quiz, you were coming to this practice website to get it.
Yep. You mentioned PAD, so peripheral artery disease. Find out if your symptoms are in line with PAD, like would you qualify for something like this? That worked out really well. We've done other ones on fertility. I think we did one on dizziness.
Yep, we've done a dizziness one. We've done ones for orthopedic.
Yep.
Like knee surgery,
Yep.
hip surgeries, those kinds of things. Find out if it's right for you, if you're the active type of person that would actually benefit from a knee replacement. Those work really well.
Didn't you do one on second opinion consults for spine surgeons?
Second opinion consults for spine surgery and for IVF, we launched one as well.
That's great. And then you said your second opinion consults. Do you have any stats to share?
Yeah, so the second opinion actually converts about 18% on average.
Wow, that's great.
Right, they take this quiz, and then of everybody that took this quiz, about 20% of them went ahead and moved forward with like a telemedicine second opinion. And again, if we were not doing the quiz, we were seeing conversion rates of about 3%, 5%, if it's really good. So we tripled our conversion rate through this quiz.
Yeah, those are some really great numbers.
Absolutely. Yeah, and again, you know, you set one of these things up, and then it lives on your website. It's available 24/7, 365. You and your staff, you don't have to do anything. Patients come whenever whenever it strikes their fancy to take this quiz, they can take it, and then they know what the next step is. They know when the email is. You get notified of it, and it's working for you every day of the week.
You know, I know that it works other than just the numbers, but so we had a practice that I work with pretty regularly, and another ophthalmology group, and they like went to a conference and met like this like LASIK marketing expert, and like he speaks on the national circuits, and you know he was selling them hard. They bought in, and they were like, "You're going to work with this guy. He's an expert on the LASIK marketing." And he came to us. We had our first meeting, and you know what he suggested? Quizzes. He wanted quizzes for cataracts, LASIK, and RLE, and we said, that's great, we already have quizzes, so let's use what you want to do to tweak them. And then we went in and tweaked the stuff that we had, which was really good information, and it was really helpful to work with them, but it just kind of reinforced that what we were doing, which we do across specialties, and he only does it in one. That was his big thing that he was bringing to the table. And I can tell you, these quizzes, they're not hard to put together. You know, you do a different one each year, and you could recycle them over time so that they have time to regenerate. You know, it might take us about 20 hours to do the whole thing, but there's no reason that if your website is built in the type of platform we tell everybody, like a good CMS, there's no reason you can't do these things.
Yeah, and there's, you know, just like anything with marketing, there's levels to these things, right? Like you can start a quiz, you can have your 5-6 question quiz, you get your results page, that can be the end of it. That's still a great lead generator. You want to take it a step further, you can include what's called an email drip series after this. So like we had talked about before, you go through the quiz, at the end of it, maybe you ask for contact information. I give you my email address, and you can set up an automated email series that gets sent to me. Let's say it's over the course of 7 or 8 weeks, I get 4 or 5 emails that just walks me through everything about the practice and what to expect if I were to go through with LASIK as an example. How much does it cost? What are some real testimonials? What are some expectations that I should have as a patient as I go through this process? And by the end of that series, I'll know everything I need to know about the practice and the procedure, and I can decide to sign up or not. And again, we've seen fantastic conversion rates on this.
I wonder if there is a situation where you could use a quiz to self-qualify people that want to apply for jobs. And then you could use the quiz, like, see if you'd be a cultural fit for us. 5 questions.
I love that idea.
So do I. I'm just thinking, like, is there an opportunity, especially in the world we're living in right now, self-qualify some of these folks before they even, come in and take your time for that first interview. And then you've built that list that you can then re-engage because you knew they were interested at some point.
I like that because
I'm going to write that down for our...
Yeah, you could flunk out before you have to go to the interview.
Yeah.
Just say, ooh, this person's not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
I kind of think so too.
Glad we're doing this.
Yeah, me too. It's a great place. Okay, so these are lead magnets. Ultimately, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about lead magnets. And maybe a quiz isn't right for you. If you've got a quiz already on your website, or you're just not sure how you're going to do it, what other types of lead magnets are out there, because they're all good traffic drivers and they're great ways to collect data and then nurture those potential patients.
Yeah, and again, a lead magnet is any type of free service or giveaway for the purpose of gathering these contact details. So some other things that would work, ebooks work really well. This is essentially just a collection of information. You probably already have this on your website. If you don't have a bunch of information on your website that you could put into a single ebook, then if you're a medical practice, so someone on the team is pretty smart. So you can interview them, get the information, and turn it into an ebook relatively easily. Put it all into one single PDF, have it designed so it looks really nice, and then offer that as a download. So for example, this could be something like, sticking with ophthalmology, we could say a cataract guide could be an ebook that you download. It's everything you ever needed to know about cataracts, which again, you probably already have these resources as some sort of PDF, either online or in office, or it's on your website already. It's just in 10 different pages. Take those pages, put them together as a PDF, then you've got your download, you've got your ebook.
Absolutely, you could do, which we've done for a practice that does PT, and you could do knee exercises, exercises for your hand and wrist. You can do an ebook because it's electronic. You can embed little GIFs in it. You can make it fun. The hand and wrist one, all we did was take an existing video that blew up in China, by the way. I'm talking millions of viewers looking at how to stretch your wrist out. Take that, turn that into nice little GIFs, drop it into a document, save it out as a PDF with some design, make it into a lead magnet.
Yep.
You're recreating content.
Yeah, we've done, we did one recently for a plastic surgeon about rhinoplasty, and we're getting ready to launch one for them about blepharoplasty as well. And same idea, it's just walking you through before and afters and what to expect, recovery, and a little bit about the surgeon. And again, those are all resources that already exist. We're just repurposing them and making them convenient for the end user.
Yeah, we've got one for like med spas, where it's talking about like, okay, well, when do I use Botox? When do I use Juvederm? When do I use Morpheus? It's everything for the face that you can do before you need a facelift. And so it's a nice piece that says, this is for this, this is for this. Here's what they all mean. There's a little, there's some explanation of everything. They sign up for the ebook. They come onto the email list. We have a drip campaign. Then we start sending them testimonial videos. Then we send them like a little discount to come in and make their appointment. We track them through the Nurture series, and it's done really well.
Yeah, and the best part about that is you're kind of filling the clinic schedule with these non-surgical procedures, but we know whoever's looking at those things probably...
They're just trying to stay away from the surgical until they can't.
Right, then they're going to get the facelift anyway. Right, and they're going to trust you because you provided this information and you've also given them these other procedures leading up to the facelift. So now they've got a relationship with you that's cultivated over the course of years or months or whatever the case may be.
It's great stuff. Okay, so outside of ebooks and quizzes, what's another idea?
Webinars work really well for this as well. And again, same thing. So let's say, we've all done webinars at this point. We know what they are. It's just PowerPoint that you put together. This can be live. It can be pre-recorded, so it's available on demand, meaning that a potential patient at 3 in the morning can download your webinar, learn everything that they ever wanted to know about their upcoming hip surgery, and you don't have to do anything. And once they watch that video, then they can get the emails and you can schedule them for their surgery. We
actually do that with a lot of younger doctors. So we'll have the younger doctors who are trying to build their patient base early on, come in and do a handful of webinars. Then we take that webinar, turn it into a lead magnet for them, Nurture series. It lets us engage with that doctor, but it also gets their name on the board and positions them as the expert right away.
Yeah, we've also, we've been doing something with actually filming surgeries. So we'll go into the operating room and then have the surgeon walk us through exactly what they're doing. Because what we find is a lot of potential patients, they're nervous about a surgery, rightfully so. So if we show them exactly what's happening, a lot of people are interested in that. And then once they see it and they go, oh, well, that's not as bloody and gruesome and gross as I thought it was going to be, then we use that as an educational tool, and we find that that leads to more surgeries.
We do that, and then we've also been able to morph that into filming the surgery, hosting a webinar live, inviting the doctor to participate in the live webinar where they're kind of doing a play-by-play,
Right.
and then turning that into a CEU opportunity, which is also an opportunity to market to the referring doctors. And I always tell the doctor, it doesn't matter that that doctor didn't show up. You went to them and offered them something for free that positioned you as the expert on the latest and greatest procedure that you wanted to market them. And now we have something that lives in perpetuity, and we can market it across the board, and we can use it for a lead generator, and it converts patients, just like you said.
Yeah, and you're providing this education to them, which is different, again, because everybody else is just giving them bagels, right? So,
Yep.
yeah, so you're doing something that's a little bit different, and you're giving this education piece to them, and I think that goes a long way in terms of creating that referral relationship.
Yeah, this is great information, something that everybody should take back to their marketing team and say, look, I want to do some lead magnets. But honestly, the lowest point of entry, do some quizzes. Those are simple. You can have them up next week.
And great conversion rate on the quizzes.
That's right. That's right. Good stuff, Corey. With that, I'm Jennifer.
I'm Corey.
And we'll see you next time on the Dr. Marketing Tips Show.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. If you want more like this, hit like and subscribe so you'll always be alerted to new episodes when they come out. And if you want information about us, visit us over at insightmg.com. That's insightmg.com. We'll see you on the next episode.